once again bombed the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement that the strikes targeted underground weapons storage facilities.
It was a night like any other in Yemen, until it wasn't. High above, an invisible force moved with deadly precision. A B-2 Spirit bomber, one of the most advanced warplanes ever built, had one job: to strike Yemen's most protected underground bunker. Then, boom! A 13.6-ton bomb smashed through layers of rock and concrete, wiping out a hidden weapons stockpile. But was this just a simple strike, or was the U.S. sending a bigger message? And who else was watching? Join us as we look into the 13.6-ton U.S. bomb that pulverized Yemen's most protected bunker. The U.S. bombing attacks on Yemen. October 17, 2024, a night that started like any other in Yemen. But high above, something unseen was cutting through the darkness. Moving with silent precision, a B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, one of the most expensive warplanes in the U.S. military, was locked onto its target. This aircraft, worth over $2 billion, wasn't just flying a routine mission. It had one purpose: to wipe out 5 underground weapons storage complexes controlled by the Houthis. Under a sky full of stars, the bomber released its GPS-guided bombs, striking deep beneath the surface near Sana'a, the capital, and the city of Sada. This was the first time a B-2 bomber had ever been used inside Yemen, marking a significant escalation in U.S. firepower since the Middle East War reignited last October. As the dust settled, the Pentagon made it official later that Wednesday night. The U.S. had deployed its B-2 bombers to the Middle East for this very reason: to destroy high-value targets hidden deep underground, all under Houthi control. What was the cause of these attacks? Were there specific targets? What you're about to hear will blow your mind. At a briefing, the Pentagon's press secretary explained the details. U.S. forces, including the B-2 bombers, had launched precision strikes against 5 heavily fortified underground weapons storage sites. These weren't just any facilities. They were stockpiling weapons that the Houthis had been using to attack both civilian and military ships across the region. For the past year, the Houthis, backed by Iran, have targeted U.S. and international ships in the Red Sea, Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and Gulf of Aden. They also escalated tensions by attacking Israel's Ben Gurion International Airport, citing support for the Palestinian cause. Their attacks had put innocent lives at risk and disrupted major global shipping routes. Now U.S. Central Command is still assessing the full impact of the strike, but there's no doubt about one thing: the mission was successful. The Pentagon confirmed that the bombs hit exactly as planned. But this was more than just an airstrike. It was a direct warning. The message to the Houthis was loud and clear: their reckless and illegal attacks wouldn't be ignored. If they kept endangering lives, there would be consequences. Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin III made that clear in his statement. The U.S. wasn't going to sit back and watch. American lives, assets, and regional allies would be defended. Freedom of movement in these crucial waterways had to be protected, ensuring that U.S., coalition, and merchant vessels could operate without fear. The Houthis had a choice: stop the attacks or face an even stronger response. Lloyd Austin, the U.S. Defense Secretary, shared more details about the weaponry used in the raid. The B-2 is one of the few U.S. aircraft capable of carrying the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator, a 30,000-pound bunker-busting bomb designed to destroy deeply buried targets. This weapon is specifically designed to take out deeply buried bunkers, piercing through layers of earth and concrete before detonating. Previous U.S. and U.K. airstrikes on Yemen had relied on lighter attack aircraft, which lacked the capability to carry such heavy-duty ordnance. Austin emphasized the significance of the strike, describing it as a clear demonstration of America's ability to hit even the most well-hidden and fortified enemy facilities. No matter how deep underground, no matter how hardened, these locations were not beyond reach. He made it clear that these targeted strikes were necessary to protect U.S. forces and personnel operating in one of the world's most vital waterways. To be more specific about the targets, while Austin did not specify exact locations, experts believe the strikes likely hit 3 key missile sites on the southern outskirts of Sana'a, Jabal Atan, Al-Hafa, and Nandain. These locations had long been associated with Yemen's missile forces, dating back to the 1980s. Each of these barrack areas housed a missile brigade, with underground bunkers carved from natural cave formations nearby. Two of these brigades had operated Scud missiles, providing Yemeni forces with decades of experience handling ballistic missile systems, a skill set that remains in play to this day. Before the 2022 ceasefire, these same sites had been repeatedly bombed by Saudi forces in an attempt to stop missile attacks on their territory. However, those airstrikes had little effect because the Saudis lacked the kind of bunker-busting ordnance that could reach the deeply buried missile stockpiles. In Sana'a, another key target was an underground tunnel complex located about 8 kilometers east of the airfield. Recent satellite images suggest that this site had been undergoing significant construction activity, making it a prime target for the U.S. operation. Meanwhile, a known missile storage facility near Taiz in the south appears to have been left untouched in this particular round of airstrikes. The U.S. airstrikes stand out for several reasons. First, they send a strong message about stopping the ongoing Houthi attacks on merchant ships in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden. These attacks have involved both ballistic missiles and drones, causing serious threats to international shipping. And now the Houthis have gone a step further. They've openly warned that they could expand their operations and start targeting vessels in the Eastern Mediterranean. With the help of newly supplied Iranian missiles, they now have the range to back up that threat. While striking Houthi stockpiles, the operation also served as a warning to Iran, demonstrating the U.S.'s ability to neutralize deeply buried targets. Taiz wasn't just about Yemen, it had wider implications. The escalating conflicts in Yemen, Israel, and the U.S. While tensions escalated in Yemen, global stability was also under threat elsewhere. That same day, Israel took decisive action to protect its citizens by announcing the killing of Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. The move was seen as a major counterterrorism success, with U.S. officials acknowledging its significance. According to Austin, Sinwar's death would not undo the devastation of the October 7th attacks he orchestrated or bring back the many lives lost under his leadership. However, it was seen as a step toward justice for the families of those affected by his actions. His removal marked a turning point, sending a strong message that those responsible for such brutal attacks would be held accountable, no matter how long it took or how deeply they were embedded within militant networks. Despite the impact of Sinwar's removal, officials acknowledged that Hamas would likely waste little time in appointing a new leader. Ryder emphasized that both Israel and the U.S. would closely monitor the situation, understanding that militant groups tend to adapt quickly to leadership losses. He pointed out that Sinwar had played a critical role in directing Hamas operations and had been the mastermind behind the October 7th assault on Israel. From a counterterrorism perspective, taking him off the battlefield was a major development that could influence the future of the conflict. It wasn't just about removing one man, it was about dismantling the structure that allowed such attacks to happen in the first place. The situation remained fluid, and while Sinwar's death would undoubtedly shake Hamas, the broader implications were yet to be fully understood. However, one thing was certain. Israel, just like the U.S., had sent a clear message that threats to its security would not go unanswered. With Sinwar eliminated, there is now a greater possibility of achieving a ceasefire in Gaza. Austin emphasized that this development presents a unique opportunity to bring an end to the ongoing conflict, allowing displaced Israelis to return to their homes safely, ensuring the rapid delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza, and offering relief to Palestinian civilians who have long suffered under Hamas control. During a call with Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, Austin addressed Sinwar's killing and reaffirmed the United States' unwavering support for Israel's right to defend itself. He also confirmed that the U.S. had provided Israel with the Terminal High-Altitude Area Defense System, an advanced anti-ballistic missile defense system designed to intercept threats at high altitudes. On Monday, a team of U.S. military personnel arrived in Israel with the initial components needed to operate the system.
Against the activity and attacks by Iran proxies, and it's not just in Yemen, it is in Iraq.
With additional personnel and equipment expected throughout the week. Officials stated that the THAAD battery would be fully operational soon. During the conversation with Gallant, Austin stressed that the deployment of this defense system underscored the U.S.'s firm and enduring commitment to Israel's security. Ryder echoed this sentiment, noting that the THAAD deployment served as yet another demonstration of Washington's steadfast support for its key ally in the region. What truly caught analysts' attention in all of this was not just the scale of the U.S. airstrikes, but the choice of aircraft used in the operation. The B-2 stealth bomber is an incredibly rare asset, with only 19 in service. It is not typically deployed against targets with minimal air defenses. The Houthis, for instance, lack sophisticated radar systems and rely primarily on portable anti-aircraft missiles and small arms. This raises an important question. Why would the U.S. use such a highly specialized and expensive aircraft for this mission? The answer likely goes beyond simply destroying underground weapons stockpiles. There may have been a broader strategic message behind this operation, one aimed not just at the Houthis but at other regional players as well. What more details should we know about this weapon? Stay tuned, the most interesting part is still ahead. The B-2 Spirit, America's ultimate weapon. The B-2 Spirit stands as a symbol of cutting-edge U.S. aerospace engineering, continuously enhanced with the latest technological advancements since its introduction in 1997. One of its most recent upgrades includes an improved defensive management system, ensuring its ability to operate in highly contested environments. This long-range stealth bomber can carry an impressive 18 tons of munitions, while cruising at altitudes exceeding 15,000 meters. Without needing to refuel, it can travel over 11,000 kilometers, making it an invaluable asset for extended missions. Despite its complexity, the B-2 requires only 2 crew members, a pilot and a mission commander, who can alternate duties and rest in a small onboard bunk during prolonged flights. Its advanced satellite navigation and communication systems, continuously updated, guarantee precise operations even in adverse weather conditions. The aircraft's distinctive flying wing design eliminates a traditional fuselage and tail, reducing the surfaces that could reflect radar signals. To further enhance its stealth capabilities, engineers apply radar-absorbent coatings and anti-reflective materials, bringing its radar signature down to a mere 0.1 square meters. On an enemy radar screen, it appears no larger than a migrating bird, effectively vanishing into the background. Recently declassified documents highlight the meticulous maintenance required to preserve the stealth effectiveness, with every centimeter of its surface undergoing thorough inspection. The aircraft's underside is painted darker than the upper section, helping it blend seamlessly into the night sky when flying at high altitudes. Experts note that beyond a distance of 37 kilometers, the B-2 is virtually impossible to detect with the naked eye. Additionally, pilots employ highly classified stealth techniques, including precise adjustments to electronic emissions, careful control of heat signatures, and subtle alterations in flight angles, all aimed at minimizing the risk of detection. The B-2 was developed by Boeing. This advanced bunker-busting weapon can pierce layers of reinforced concrete to reach underground facilities. It utilizes a specialized warhead composed of high-energy compounds like AFX-757 and PBXN-14, formulated after analyzing the limitations of previous bunker-penetrating bombs used in past conflicts. As the only aircraft capable of carrying 2 MOPs simultaneously, the B-2 Spirit presents a formidable challenge to any adversary relying on underground fortifications for protection. Whether targeting nuclear research sites or concealed missile storage facilities, this combination of stealth and firepower sends a clear message. No bunker is beyond reach. These unique capabilities made the B-2 the perfect choice for the Yemen operation. The October 17th mission was so sensitive that only a select few high-ranking officials were privy to its full details. The Aden region is one of the most important trade routes in the world, with around 10% of global trade passing through it, including vital oil shipments for Europe and Asia. But tensions spiked in September when the Houthis fired missiles and drones at U.S. ships. The Pentagon denied the attack happened, but the fear alone was enough for several shipping companies to change course and avoid the area entirely. Their missile and drone operations intensified, heightening regional instability. Their increasing use of anti-ship missiles and kamikaze drones has made it clear that their weapons are becoming more advanced. In response, the U.S. deployed the B-2 bomber. The Houthis quickly reacted, releasing a statement from their political office, warning that they would retaliate against what they called U.S. aggression. It was clear that this was proof of the U.S.'s ability to locate and destroy underground facilities, no matter how deep or well protected they were. Iran has long relied on underground defenses, making its facilities increasingly difficult to target. This approach isn't new. During the Cold War, Both the US and the Soviet Union spent enormous amounts of money building underground complexes strong enough to survive nuclear attacks. But today, the focus is on countries using advanced tunneling technology to create underground bunkers that are harder than ever to find and even more difficult to destroy. With modern drilling machines and ultra-durable concrete, these nations have built facilities at depths that would have been unthinkable just a few decades ago. This not only makes them harder to detect, but also makes it extremely challenging for even the most powerful bunker-busting bombs to reach them. For decades, Iran has been one of the US's EOS biggest rivals, and it has taken underground defenses to a whole new level. Ever since the nuclear deal fell apart in 2018, Iran's atomic program has been moving forward at an alarming speed. Reports suggest that deep inside the Zagros Mountains, near the Natanz nuclear site, Iranian engineers have dug tunnels that go between 80 and 100 meters underground. That's far deeper than what the GBU-57, the West's most powerful bunker-busting bomb, is officially capable of reaching. It can only penetrate about 60 meters of reinforced concrete before exploding. There are rumors about newer and stronger versions of the bomb, but no one really knows if they'd be effective against something buried that deep. That remains a military secret. However, the US does have a strategy to overcome these extreme underground defenses. The B-2 bombers uses GPS guidance to strike the same location repeatedly, ensuring that even the deepest underground facilities are not beyond reach. The first bomb blasts a hole, the next one digs even deeper, and so on, creating a tunnel of destruction. Military experts and specialized reports confirm that the US has spent years perfecting this technique by testing it in rough, mountainous terrains similar to those in Iran and Afghanistan. At the same time, Iran's nuclear program is making faster progress than ever before. The International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, has found shocking evidence: uranium particles enriched to 83.7%, a level dangerously close to what's needed for nuclear weapons. British and German officials at the agency have called these findings unprecedented and extremely concerning. By early 2024, top IAEA officials admitted that Iran had already stockpiled enough enriched uranium to build multiple nuclear bombs. If that happens, Iran would become the first new nuclear power in the Middle East since Israel. This is why the US airstrike in Yemen has a much bigger meaning. The Houthis weren't the ultimate target, they were just a warning shot. If the US can wipe out deeply buried weapons bunkers in Yemen using the B-2, then Iran's so-called impenetrable nuclear sites might not be as safe as they think. The future of warfare is already unfolding, and the next big player is the B-21 Raider, expected to be ready by 2032. This next-generation stealth bomber is being called the world's first sixth-generation bomber, designed to fly even farther and operate with even more advanced systems. It won't carry as many bunker-busting bombs as the B-2, just one mop instead of two, but that doesn't really change the big picture. The real question isn't whether it can break through the deepest defenses, but how long before it proves it can. Meanwhile, Iran is pushing ahead with its own military advancements. It's producing more of its own weapons and continuing to dig deeper into its mountains, trying to make its facilities untouchable. But at the same time, the US is improving its bombing techniques, fine-tuning the way its weapons can break through even the toughest underground structures. What happened in Yemen demonstrated advanced military capabilities, sending a broader strategic message. Every tunnel Iran carves into the mountains, every step it takes toward refining uranium, and every improvement the US makes to its stealth bombers brings both sides closer to a potential showdown. The tension is growing, layer by layer, just like the rock formations beneath Iran's mountains. And the biggest question isn't whether a confrontation will happen, it's when. A look into history will show that Octobers have been memorable for Yemen in terms of war. What does this mean? You're at the edge of your seat and it's about to get even better. US former bombing campaigns in Yemen. Looking back at history, Yemen witnessed another devastating explosion in the same month, many years ago. On October 12, 2000, a small boat carrying explosives pulled up alongside the USS Cole, a US Navy destroyer. Two suicide bombers on board waved at the crew in a friendly manner, making it seem like just another routine moment. But then, in an instant, they detonated their explosives. The USS Cole had stopped at the port of Aden in Yemen to refuel before continuing its journey to the Persian Gulf. The blast was massive, tearing a 40-foot wide hole near the ship's waterline. The attack killed 17 U.S. sailors and left nearly 40 others wounded. The FBI wasted no time. More than 100 agents from its counterterrorism division, along with forensic experts from the FBI laboratory and various field offices, were immediately sent to Yemen. Even FBI Director Louis Freeh traveled there to assess the situation firsthand and meet with Yemen's president. The investigation was massive, involving hundreds of FBI agents and personnel from different offices, along with members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force. The FBI worked closely with the Yemeni government, establishing a formal agreement on November 29, 2000, outlining how both sides would cooperate in questioning witnesses and suspects. With that in place, investigators got to work, conducting interviews and collecting large amounts of physical evidence, much of which was sent back to the FBI laboratory for detailed analysis. FBI photographers captured images of the crime scene, which helped identify the victims and provided crucial visual evidence of the damage caused by the explosion. Later, forensic experts, bomb specialists, and agents from the FBI's New York and Jackson field offices traveled to Pascagoula, Mississippi, where the USS Cole had been brought to a shipyard for repairs. There they continued their investigation, examining the ship for additional clues and evidence. After an extensive investigation, the FBI concluded that the bombing of the USS Cole was orchestrated by members of the Al-Qaeda terrorist network. Their findings also uncovered an earlier, failed attempt on January 3, 2000, to attack another U.S. Navy ship, the USS the Sullivans. In that case, the terrorists' plan fell apart when their boat, overloaded with explosives, sank before they could detonate it. However, they managed to recover both the boat and the explosives, making adjustments before successfully carrying out the USS Cole attack months later. By the end of 2000, Yemeni authorities had arrested several suspects, including Jamal Muhammad Ahmed al-Badawi and Fahad Muhammad Ahmed al-Kuso. These two men were believed to be key planners behind both the USS the Sullivans and USS Cole attacks. Both had trained in Al-Qaeda camps in Afghanistan during the 1990s and were later killed in the separate U.S. airstrikes. Another major figure involved in the plot is Tawfiq Muhammad bin Saleh bin Roshaid bin Attash. Meanwhile, authorities are still looking for Abdullah al-Rimi, who remains wanted for questioning regarding any knowledge he may have about the attack on the USS Cole. Do you think a bombing of this sort may still be imminent? What do you think the B-2 stealth fighter? Let us know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.